20 weird ways to use enemies in Mario Maker 2. Going head to head against interesting baddies in Mario games is the thing that keeps us coming back for more. Today, we'll be looking at 20 strange ways we can use otherwise normal enemies in Mario Maker 2. Toadette realizes her stupidity ray caused a severe side effect. All areas in a radius outside of Imbecile Isle have been afflicted by a radioactive mist that morphs some creatures in unknown ways. If Toadette and her friends do not take these enemies out in time, they could evolve into unstoppable forces that destroy the entire Mushroom Kingdom. Toadette explains to her friends that she only used the stupidity ray because she was worried Blue Toad was not ready to fight. Deflated Blue Toad feels weak and useless and runs off ashamed. Mario and Luigi agree that they all must act quickly to save their precious home. Conflicted Toadette, eaten up by guilt, sets out to the first area. She wants to find Blue Toad and set things right, but she knows she must eradicate the mutant enemies first. Toadette arrives in a seemingly abandoned amusement park. For some reason, the roller coaster cars here have been replaced with winged boos. Going against her instincts, she hops on top of these ghosts. The mutants are actually a hybrid of an ice block and a boo that fall together on a shared track. Toadette braves the rickety ride and avoids sharp broken bits that are directly in front of the track. She even needs to switch the rails with an on-off block to ensure that the boo cart doesn't fall completely off the rails. Often, she has no choice but to jump on an unstable platform for temporary safety before jumping back on the coaster. Just when she gets the hang of it, her cart splits into two halves. Now she strategically jumps between them to survive. When she crushes all the enemies in the area and makes it to the end, she lets the cart fall into the abyss and leaves this dreadful place. Blue Toad enters a crumbling castle to hide from his so-called friends. He moves through a door and several dry bones immediately bombard him with projectiles. Blue Toad has a giant Goomba with him that mutated to deflect damage as long as Blue Toad kicks him. After each kick, any bones that would hurt the Blue Mushroom Man get knocked back while he hits on-off blocks. Blue Toad brings the Goomba shield with him to each murderous room. He fights off painful hammers and wrenches by staying in the center of the upside-down meat shield. All the remaining inhabitants of the castle join forces in the final room. As long as he carefully times his jumps to hit on-off switches during safe moments, he can deflect anything and everything these bloodthirsty enemies throw at him. Blue Toad avoids spiny spikes, blast-missiles, and Bowser Jr. fire, and brings down Muncher explosives to take out the baddies and finish the fight. Mario moves east to help look for mutant creatures. He discovers that the thwomps here have increased intelligence. They make life difficult for Mario by activating exclamation mark blocks when he approaches to try to launch him into punishing terrain. It appears that the source of the thwomp intellect actually comes from their Hop Chop companions, who are the ones that were affected by the mist. When they need to, the thwomps attempt to smash Mario by sacrificing a Hop Chop. If Mario moves with haste, he can use this fast crushing motion to his advantage by jumping with incredible speed and height. Mario carefully jumps his way through this obstacle course, staying one mental step ahead of the thwomps, and finally cutting off the source of their new power. Luigi moves north to try to clear that region. He uncovers a ruined castle that is occupied by Monty Mole. He gained extreme manipulation power and controls Giant Bowser Jr., and forces him to stay in shell mode as Monty's extreme helmet. Luigi needs to move through this castle by spin jumping on this terrifying duo. The spiky floor makes any mistake fatal. Luigi cautiously activates an on-off switch and moves through a tight hallway. Taunty Mole gives Luigi trouble as he navigates through the top route and attempts to trick Monty into position. With extreme luck, Luigi transfers to the original Monty, activates the axe, and destroys these manipulative moles. Toadette sees a peaceful forest nearby and decides she can look for Blue Toad while pursuing her main objective. She enters an area where everything is covered in poison. Her only choice is to jump into the deadly jelly and hope for the best. When she jumps, she somehow survives. Vines are overlapped with the top of the poison and are barely visible but still allow her to live and move through the zone. Munchers that can somehow now move approach with the intention of pulverizing poor Toadette. Mutated thwomps underneath the poison continue to pursue the pink mushroom in many deadly ways. Toadette keeps a level head and patiently waits for the perfect moment to avoid the danger and move through the area. In the final zone, Toadette needs to use the thwomp's deadly weapon to endure. She jumps whenever she needs to avoid saw blades and uses the sideways trampolines to propel her forward. With agility, she jumps on falling platforms and dodges enemies until she slides through a tight piranha plant tunnel and crawls through a pipe. With one simple switch, she drains the swamp and the thwomp power with it. The back exit of the castle leads Blue Toad to the bottom of a mineshaft. He needs to find a way up to the top. He slips through a pipe and lands on a stump. Winged parabeetles have adapted new powers to be able to climb upward with the use of Monty moles in hard blocks. Blue Toad uses these special beetles to ascend in this mineshaft while evading danger. Blue Toad employs every skill he's mastered over the years, including bouncing on enemies and spin jumping. Quick reactions are required as Blue Toad hops between the two opposite climbing beetles to stay alive. Cannonballs become crucial to buy Blue Toad more time away from those spike traps. Vines growing out of blocks become his allies as they climb towards safety. Blue Toad obliterates enemies, clears his pathway, and jumps over one-way gates right in time to escape before the entire mine collapses. Mario climbs a nearby mountain and reaches the snow. Strangely, the winged dry bones here can bounce higher than any other enemy. Mario's goal is to bounce on as many dry bones as he can to break the bone that allows them to use this special jump. To make sure he got them all, he'll have to climb to the mountain's peak. As he steps onto icicle platforms, giant winged dry bones launch out of bill blasters into a note block and explode upward. Mario's frightened of this initially, but harnesses this power to climb the summit quickly. More bouncy dry bones give him trouble as he jumps across pits and avoids hungry piranha plants. With one final burst from his dry bones elevator, Mario reaches the top of the mountain and has normalized all of the dry bones. Luigi heads to Hammer Mountain. He hops in a protective dry bone shell and watches in horror as dozens of Sledge Bros merge into two terrifying Super Sledge Bros. This works by having all of the Sledge Bros start on different tracks and fall onto the same spot on a main track. To stop them, Luigi needs to destroy their weapons with his shell. He jumps onto the steady stream of hammers and moves across the course with the Super Sledges. He crosses through small obstacles while making sure to keep up with their speed. After enough hammer destruction, Luigi reaches the end and vaporizes the Super Sledge Bros for good. Toadette hears of a Boom Boom airplane hybrid creature that may help her cover more ground to find Blue Toad. She decides to channel the power of her friend Link for this encounter. Linkette steps on top of this Boom Boom beetle plane and directs it left and right based on where she stands on the parabeetle. She needs to take out the Sky Goombas to make sure her plane doesn't crash. As the flight continues, she needs to be even more cautious while she pilots Boom Boom plane away from grinders and upward through the night sky. Linkette uses her great skill to reach the top and moves into the final encounter. She flies through a castle on the Boom Boom plane and strategically drops bombs against hard block walls to make space for the plane to move forward. After enough perfect bombs, she reaches safety and drops the Boom Boom plane into molten cherry juice to make sure it never flies again. Still no sign of Blue Toad. Blue Toad feels the gentle warmth of the sun as he emerges from the mineshaft. He finds himself in a dangerous forest and needs to find his way to safety. He hops onto a beast that's made up of 4 different enemies stacked together. The beast starts walking with his spiny legs, trying to force Blue Toad to fall into the grinders below. He finds a POW block above and smashes it with his thick skull to remove the spiny. Now a chain chomp bounces wildly, trying to launch Blue Toad off. He stays calm and launches a spiked shellmet to destroy the chomp, and now rides the parabeetle further. He tricks the remainder of the beast to try to move through a wall, but only the parabeetle can. The thwomp smashes itself to death and Blue Toad successfully defeats the beastly stack one by one. Mario jumped up so high with the winged dry bones that now he needs to find a way down. He opens a door and immediately falls between bullet blaster enhanced thwomps. Mario needs to move quickly side to side to avoid the sharp edges of these mutant stacks. He can use the bullet blasters to slide safely around the thwomps until he reaches the bottom of the zone. The thwomps team up with piranha plants for an even more dangerous fall. Mario carefully takes out every single enemy here one by one to eliminate this mutant threat. On his way down from Hammer Mountain, Luigi passes through a mysterious castle. When he enters, he finds that Lieutenant Wiggler now has the unique ability to control chain chomps with just sound. When Lieutenant Wiggler steps on a note block, the lava-swimming chain chomps change direction. Luigi spin jumps with all of his might and watches where the Wiggler is going to predict when the chomps will try to catch him off guard. He dodges munchers and grinders multiple times as he moves back and forth on these chain chomps. The tactful Wiggler even uses 2 state blocks to force Luigi to survive while the chomps are out of reach. Luigi outsmarts Lieutenant Wiggler and makes it through his gauntlet of pain. He uses the axe to drop him and his chomp army into the burning sludge. Disoriented Toadette searches for a sign of Blue Toad after her Boom Boom plane ride. She wanders into a forest and encounters a new opponent, Double Triple. This mutant enemy combination is a trio of munchers and a trio of angry wigglers that all ride on their thwomp chariots. Double Triple's strategy is to get Toadette to accidentally step on the munchers or to fall through the wigglers if she has star powers. To be safe, she carefully keeps track of when her superstar will run out and switches sides as she rides the monster. While navigating the course, she has many spiky walls to jump over and uses enemies along the way to catch up. When she beats Double Triple's challenge, she drains the poison and disintegrates her foes. Blue Toad finds a nice pond in the forest to cool down after his sweaty encounters. When he dives underwater, he finds porcupuffers that trap him in their underwater lair. He quickly learns that they have the mutant power of self-detonation and are willing to kamikaze into Blue Toad to take him out. The only way Blue Toad might prevail is through completing each puzzle room. If he can use their powers against them by launching fireballs, he can solve each room and get a key to move forward while destroying his opponents in the process. He can even make them explode to activate exclamation mark blocks that smash other enemies. Blue Toad completes what he thinks is the last puzzle and breathes a sigh of relief. Just then, he is forced into one last boss puzzle. He must battle the Infinity Puffer. In this room, a thwomp sits at the top of the screen. His path is hindered by many question mark blocks that Blue Toad must break. The only way he can do it is by exploding the Infinity Puffer and resetting the room. Because exploded blocks don't respawn, but the Porcupuffer does, he can continually break through the blockage. When Blue Toad destroys the Infinity Puffer for the 10th time, the thwomp can crash all the way down to award him a key to freedom. Mario makes his way to Bully Valley to see if any bullies have been altered. It seems that they all mutated to be stuck in one place, but also to have the power to launch anything that they touch. Mario moves through the valley by jumping into these immobile enemies. As he gets deeper into the gorge, other enemies and perils wait for him. He must precisely time his jumps to use the other enemies as trampolines and make his way through. After pinballing himself through the last zone, he melts the bullies and looks for his friends. Luigi hears extremely fast footsteps deeper in the castle and moves to investigate. A mutant spiny skipsqueak named Speed Squeak challenges him to a race. Luigi assumes this will be easy because every skipsqueak he's seen just stands in one place, so he agrees. They both jump into clear pipes to get into position to start the race. When skipsqueaks are moved away from their starting position in the course editor, they will always try to run back to that spot. Luigi jumps into a Koopa car to keep up and jumps over blocks and bullies. If he's too slow, Speed Squeak will run over a P-switch and drop him into the burning goop. Luckily, his car has turbo speed and allows him to win. Speed Squeak is not amused by Luigi's cheating. He demands a fair race on foot. In this track, Luigi needs to run and avoid blocks while alternating between regular jumps and long jumps. Luigi sprints with everything he has and barely makes it to the finish before Speed Squeak. The sad spiny skipsqueak falls into the lava. Toadette only has one more area to clear to finish her region. She decides to leave a signal for her friends to meet up at her location outside once they are all finished on their own journeys. She enters Sticky Castle, where the lava bubbles have mutated to glue themselves to solids around them. Toadette carefully moves through the area while avoiding these adhesive flying fireballs. She collects 3 pink coins to get a key, drop the axe, and tear down this castle. Blue Toad sees a signal in the distance and knows that he has to meet up with his friends. He reluctantly accepts that he will need to face them and confront his own insecurities, so he moves through an adjacent castle to get there. When Blue Toad enters this castle, bullet blasters rain from the sky, launching out a horde of flying ant troopers. These ants mutated to continually bombard any enemies that dare to threaten their colony. Blue Toad needs to bounce on them and move through the area while avoiding falling into the lava. As he moves ahead, the ants adjust their tactics to move higher or lower. They create gaps in their lines to attempt to trick Blue Toad. Blueberry-flavored Mario adapts and swiftly clears the area while destroying the queen of the colony. Mario sees Toadette's signal across the water. He goes for a swim to meet up with his friends. Mario devours a mega mushroom to give him energy as he swims. As he moves forward, he sees bonsai bills that are connected to form a wall. Mario can't see or move past this wall, but he notices he now has possession of a cursed key. Phanto is the mutated creature that formed this bonsai wall. The Phanto chases Mario as he tries to guess where he will be attacking from next. Spinning bonsai bills fall from above, making it even more difficult to see where he is going. Mario uses the cursed key, destroying Phanto and clearing this area of all mutation. Luigi sees the signal across a huge chasm. The only way he'll be able to make it across is to drill a tunnel underground. In this mine, Spinies have mutated to constantly bounce back and forth, shattering hard blocks. Luigi uses them to create a giant drill that demolishes all hard blocks, ice blocks, and question blocks in his way. He also must avoid the moles that live here, who like to attack from above. Luigi quickly finishes his drilling operation and allows the mutated Spinies to destroy one another before he surfaces to meet with his friends. Toadette, Blue Toad, Mario, and Luigi all meet up at the source of the signal. Even with the obvious tension, they are all happy that everyone is okay. They're pretty confident that they've cleared every region in the radioactive mist zone, until they hear a deep and terrifying roar in the distance. If you want to watch the story leading up to this moment, click on the playlist right here. I'm Arrowstotle, and thanks for watching.